From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE live, well, direct from Santa Monica with your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this update, we go over that $3.5 trillion RECON, which passed in a House subcommittee. That'll pay viewers upwards of $15,000, including cluster number one passed hazard pay. And guess what? A provision being added in there of $25,000 of hard cash for you. Then cluster number two, home repairs, plus a provision being added in there of $250 billion for my seniors and my people on SSI and SSDI. Cluster number three, pass, including now a third cluster being proposed to be added in there, MSCs from Chuck Schumer. We have the latest details of that and more, plus breaking news that no one saw coming. Well, here we go, as a potential deal could be in the works with Joe Manchin. I have the latest details on Afternoons. Then, the incredible breaking news of student loan debt forgiveness, more debt forgiven, and a viewer learning on camera that his debt had suddenly been forgiven. Wow. Then the big exciting details of COLA now going to 5 to 6%. All these incredible details. We are just getting started in a big Afternoons. We'll also be going over the incredible details of third stimulus, which one viewer got $36,000 this week. You can get that money as well. We'll be getting over to fifth stimulus, which has more money going out the door. We'll be going over the dramatics of what's going on with these final days before the vote for the RECON. It's getting deliciousness, because this is where deliciousness lies. This is your home for deliciousness, and it's a big, bold, beautiful afternoon. I'm excited you're here, and a lot of breaking news in a supersized recording. Let's get to it. It starts right here, right now, on Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. It is a jam-packed recording we got on today's show. The excitement starts with all this incredible details coming with this $3.5 trillion RECON. And we'll be going over all the incredible dramatics that no one saw coming with cluster number one pass that will pay viewers money for hazard pay, plus a second package that passed that'll pay people for home repairs, the third cluster that passed that'll pay seniors for money across the board. Then we have the provisions that are being proposed to be added to a RECON that already pay viewers about $15,000, a provision to be added that's $25,000, a provision being added that has money for seniors, and then a provision being added for those MSCs. We're going to go over all those dramatics and what you need to know as we go into a big, bold afternoon show. We also go over third stimulus, student loan debt forgiveness, a deal with Joe Manchin, and where they're going to get this RECON done and how they're going to get done. You're going to learn it all in this recording. We got a lot coming up, plus fifth stimulus with your COLA. Boy, what a big supersized broadcast. This is LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers to YouTube. Recognize what you're part of this incredible family. Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, financial news across the board. Coming up next on this channel today is, of course, Evenings LALATE at 5 p.m. It's a brand new show. Then we got our hit show now, Evenings Countdown, which follows right after Evenings LALATE. And I'm really excited for you because the shows from 6 o'clock all to 4 a.m. are on the hour, by the hour, all about fourth stimulus. Let's go over this incredible $3.5 trillion RECON, which passed 2 weeks ago in a House subcommittee. It'll pay viewers on average about $15,000. Let's go over each of these three clusters, which so far pays about $15,000 to all my viewers, including you if you're on SSI, SSDI, if you're a single person, if you are retired. Cluster number 1 pass, hazard pay. And this also has $4,000 of elder care. What is in this first cluster? It starts with hazard pay. They took the CTC, the Earned Income Tax Credit, the EIC, and broadened the eligibility so more people qualify for it. And also that essential workers get more money. They got $4,000 of elder care, broadening this money, including it also for caring for young children. They got home grants. Yes, if you want to repair your home in a low-income community, totally free. That money will be totally free to repair the home in a low-income community. Then they got the CTC expanded, $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks. What is this? The child tax credit. Up to $300 a month, every year to up to 18 years. That's $51,000. Wow, per child if that household remains low income. Then they got money in this for bikes, cars, and trucks, all electric, all U.S. auto manufactured. How much? Up to 15% for the purchase price of a new electric bike. Up to $7,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. A little bit more if it's for business use, and a little bit more if it's a truck. There you go. That's the first of 3 clusters passed in that House subcommittee that'll pay viewers on this channel on average of $15,000. But it's just the first cluster. Now one cluster being proposed to be added in there is $25,000 of hard cash coming to you. What is this? These $25,000 come from Maxine Waters, your illustrious legislator here from Los Angeles. She's proposed an add-on to the RECON that would pay you $25,000 for the purchase of a new home. How would this work? I think it would likely work the following way. When you're in escrow to buy the home, the federal government will pay $25,000 directly to the seller in your name. Wow, this is incredible, great news. And we're just getting started, because with that $25,000 add-on, we're going to go to the next cluster checks of that $15,000 that most viewers will qualify for. And we got in there more home repairs, and we got in there paid leave. Wow, that this is deliciousness. Well, remember that everything in this RECON is not COVID related. It's just life in general. And that is what's important to remember when we're looking at applying for all these things. As soon as it becomes law, I'm going to show you how to apply for each and every one item across the board. In this incredible second cluster, we got in there paid leave. What is this? Paid family medical leave. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. Let's say you make $35,000 a year, then you get $800 a week. Let's say you make $15,000 a year, that would be $400 a week. Family leave, you have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Medical leave, you have to stay home because your son broke his leg. Then they expanded the household tax credit. They expanded more money for seniors like dental, vision. Watch for that in the third cluster. And then they got money for pre-kindergarten and tuition-free community college. But of course, they got the money in there for home repairs to weatherize the home. Definitely need to weatherize the home. You know, weatherizing your home definitely needed, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House, and wherever possible, keep the moderate Democrats out of the Senate. There you go. 2 clusters of checks, but let's go to the big surprise that no one saw as the second add-on that's coming from Senator Bob Casey. Senator Bob Casey is proposing a $250 billion add-on to this RECON. And what is this? This is money for seniors and people on disability. Yeah, it's a lot of money. And what would it be for? It would generally be for home health care. The concept by Bob Casey is the following. You have big home health care bills that you don't want to pay for, so you have your son and daughter stay at home and take care of you if you're a senior or if you're on SSI and SSDI. The son or daughter can't work, instead they're saving money to take care of you rather than have a licensed professional. So what does Bob Casey propose? Let's have a licensed professional, have the state pay for it. You wouldn't have to pay anything out of pocket. And then if your son and daughter wants to have a life and go to work and make some money, they can. This is huge. And this is the latest addition to this RECON that has money for seniors. We're going to go to the third cluster checks that has more money for seniors, and this also has a big world exclusive coming via Bob Casey's office as well. Let's cut to this third cluster of checks, and boy, this is deliciousness. These third cluster checks involve the following. Paid free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, checks for farmers, checks for clean energy, checks for workers, checks for independent contractors, checks for seniors, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing. Wow. And here comes a world exclusive. You just saw me talk about checks for seniors. Well, Bob Casey wants to drop the eligibility age for Medicare. So where's it drop into? Insiders tell this channel that Bob Casey is looking to drop the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 60. There you go. 3 clusters of checks that pay viewers on average about $15,000 before we add in Bob Casey's add-on for that home health care of $250 billion, and before we add the $25,000 from Maxine Waters to buy a home. Let's get to the third cluster to add on, and you know what I'm about to say. That is those MSCs. Those MSCs got a big surprise, and the big surprise came from this letter that was from the number one senator for your stimulus checks, and the number one senator for your recon, and the number one member of his staff, his chief of staff. The message is overwhelming, reporting that now Congress has received 3 million calls from the viewers of LALATE. Let me read you what the message says after the chief of staff spoke to a viewer of this channel. They now have, in total, between congressional and senatorial offices, received more contacts of advocacy from LALATE than the number of signatures on the American petition. Everyone is amazed by the outpouring of touching stories from LALATE viewers. Now they have more than what has been called just a bunch of signatures. Now they have a better understanding of how the American people are trying to make it through the pandemic. They have heartbroken stories, and they are the voices of the people across the nation that has been too loud to be ignored. Then comes a personal message from that chief of staff to me. Let me tell you what that personal message says. Here we go. Please, LA, continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy as the professional voice of the people you, LA, have become until this becomes law. Basically saying, keep on pushing, keep on telling your viewers to advocate until it becomes law. There you go. Well, all very exciting news. We are just getting started. And what's important to understand is that we got a lot in this recording, but let's go over why Chuck Schumer is so important to the equation when looking at the IRS monthly stimulus checks or the Maxine Waters add-on or the Bob Casey add-on. You have a $3.5 trillion recon passing the House subcommittee. Pays viewers about $15,000. But people can still add things in there. Who those people, senators and House members. When can they add them in there? 3 different places, split between House and Senate. Let's go over all of them right now. We have a recon package, but it's not a bill. It's not a bill. It hasn't reached the House floor yet. It's in the subcommittee, which is below the House floor. And who can add them? First, they can add in the subcommittee. Sheila Jackson, she's the number 2 in the Progressive Caucus. She can add things into the subcommittee's package right now. Then they can also add it in before it becomes bill for the House floor. Let's say they don't. Let's say they get it to a bill and there's a provision that we want in there that's still missing. They can add it in there. When? The House members can put it in there before they call a vote, saying, I want to change something in the House bill. I don't like something. It's omitted. Let's add it in there. And then the biggest one. The biggest one is the Senate side. During the 2-day event called the Vote-O-Rama. Have you seen it? It's the one where Mitch shows up in the tie-dye shirt and the bell-bottom jeans. Yeah, it's the disco show. It's, no, he thinks he's a solid gold dancer. Only when, when the Republicans are in control. Now he's sort of a silver gold dancer. So, second line. So there you go. No, the Vote-O-Rama is a 2-day event in which senators introduce what they want to propose as changes to whatever was in the House bill. The senators get the House bill, and the senators look at the House bill and say, I want to make changes to it. I want to add something to it. I want to increase a number. Maybe they want to remove something. And that 2-day event is called the Vote-O-Rama. The things that they're adding in are called amendments. Who determines how the Vote-O-Rama works? Chuck Schumer. Who's in charge of the Vote-O-Rama? Chuck Schumer. Who's in charge of when things are called for a vote during the Vote-O-Rama? Chuck Schumer. Who determines what they dress for at the Vote-O-Rama? Mitch McConnell and his disco stylist. I just hope he doesn't do the music or the food. I mean, his taste of food is just really off. So there we go. I just don't want them voting when they're having lobster. Please don't vote when you're having Mitch's lobster. I just see bad things happening. We got more about this coming up in the second half of this video. We got the big potential deal of Joe Manchin. We got the COLA raises. Your benefits are going up. But guess what? I'm going to explain to you that's not the only time your benefits are going to go up. They're going to go up 2 other times in the next 12 months. Wow. We got the huge student loan debt forgiveness. And one viewer learns his debt has been forgiven. live while watching this channel. I have that incredible story. And then we have more about what is going on with the deal. I believe a deal can be hatched in this recon. They got 3 things to do, and I'm going to show you how they can do all 3 things, and it's very simple. It's coming up in the second half of this video. We got a big second half. Stay with me as Afternoons LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on a big Afternoons LALATE as the show continues with a potential deal in the works with Joe Manchin. I'll go over what this deal involves and why it is being hatched by the White House. Then we go to the surprise as more student loan debt has been forgiven. And this could be you, as one viewer learned while watching this channel, and I'll show you what happened. It's an incredible, inspiring story. Then more COLA raises. Yes, your COLA raise is coming in at 5 to 6%, but guess what? That's not the only raise you're going to get. You're going to get 2 other raises in the next 2 years. I got the details in the second half of this video. Then we go to the big exciting details as I explain to you what's going on with the legislators to get that RECON agreement hatched. I'm going to explain to you where it's going. The latest comments from Pelosi, Jalapal, and Ax Padilla, who is the California legislator and now a senator. I'll go over what backdoor deal the president's trying to do to get Joe Manchin on board. It's big. You haven't seen it until you've seen LALATE. And then we'll go over what to anticipate for next week. We got a lot coming up, and we're just getting started, and this is LALATE. So subscribe. We got a lot of shows coming up today. And coming up next is Evenings LALATE at 5 o'clock, and then our new hit show, Evenings Countdown. That goes right after Evenings LALATE. We got our 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10, 11:30. And then next morning shows at 3 and 3:30, all about forced stimulus. You don't want to miss a single video. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut to the big shocker that surprised so many people. And that shocker was the student loan debt forgiveness. Student loan debt forgiveness gave a big surprise to one viewer of this channel, and I'll explain to you his story. When we look at student loan debt forgiveness, it has come out in stages. Stage 1, announced by the president several weeks ago, was that student loan debt had been forgiven for students who became disabled after graduation. Then, in the last few days, the president announced 2 new student loan debt forgivenesses. First, the president has now forgiven student loan debts for people who went into the nonprofit sector for more than 10 years after graduation. Yes. And then the president announced the forgiveness of student loan debts for people who went into public service for 10 years after graduation. This is if you worked for the city, the county, the state, or the federal government for at least 10 years after graduation. This is if you're a public school worker, a public school teacher, or a sanitation driver, or work for Department of Transportation. This is you. Your debts have been forgiven. One viewer found this out on air while the show was airing. A viewer on Morning's Countdown was in the live chat and said, I've been a federal prison guard for 20 years since graduation. I still have student loan debts. Do you mean my debts have been forgiven? My answer was yes, sir. Your debts have been forgiven. Did not know it until he had seen this video. He came in watching the video for another purpose and then got that big surprise, and his debts have now been forgiven. The president, meantime, is looking to forgive $10,000 of student loan debts for everyone else. That is still in the works. The president says he will do $10,000. Democrats want to do a little bit more. They want to do $50,000. Now let's turn to the big surprise that you're really only going to hear on this channel and one print media outlet, which is a potential deal is in the works with Joe Manchin. What is this deal and how does it work and what's at issue? There are three issues that the moderate Democrats don't like about the recon. One, the climate has a provision in there that Joe Manchin doesn't really like. Number two, Kristen Sinema doesn't like the prescription medication. And number three, the moderates don't like the $3.5 trillion price tag. They want it into the $2 trillion. I'm going to show you in a second how they can get that done in a blink of an eye. Well, the president's White House staff may have hatched a deal that no one saw coming. The deal concerns the climate inroads with Joe Manchin. If you've been on his Twitter handle, all he talks about is climate. He's very big about particular issues of climate. He's a senator. He's from West Virginia. So what does the report say? The report says the White House has considered and has floated an idea to Joe Manchin, which reportedly he loves, which involves changing provisions of one of the existing clusters that have passed so that some of the industries in Joe Manchin's state qualify for the money big time. Joe Manchin is the state of West Virginia, and there's several industries that are very big in the state of West Virginia, and among them are fossil fuel producers. Well, the idea floated by the White House is that they would modify some of the language in the past clusters so that coal and natural gas power plants that could receive billions of dollars in financial incentives could include the fossil fuel providers of Joe Manchin states. This would be a game changer, and insiders say that Joe Manchin loves this. When we talk on this channel about the word climate, it doesn't refer to, is it beautiful outside, is it sunny, is it breezy? It's referring to these type of issues like fossil fuels, like coal and natural gas. And so they're saying if we modify the language on a provision that's already been passed, it's not your money, it's money about climate. If we change the language so that the businesses in Joe Manchin's state can qualify for this money, then Manchin will come on board. It's sort of almost like a non-brainer. His biggest constituents qualify for a massive chunk of money. Why would he not do it? I think they're going to get this done. It looks very good to me. Now, let's go over what also is unfolding about getting the next two parts of the recon to an agreement. Kristen Sinema modifying the language of the prescription medication. There's word that talks are underway. And then how to get the package from $3.5 trillion into the $2 trillion. Over the last few weeks, I've delivered a series of reports. Sometimes when I said, I think this is what's going on, and then later it becomes an exclusive because what I said that I believe was the situation was then confirmed. Going into the weekend, we learned that a lot of my stuff that I said over the last few weeks has now been confirmed. Number one, I had said during the negotiations pre-recon, when Bernie Sanders asked for $7 trillion, that many of his programs were upwards of generally 20 years. We now have confirmation that my report was right. The president had asked Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders wanted as well, programs in this recon to run many, many, many generations. Why? Because the president wanted to leave a lasting legacy that would be on this planet far after the president leaves the earth. And he wanted these to run for many, many generations. Not going to happen. Bernie went into those negotiations pre-recon in July asking for $7 trillion. They said they're not doing it. So what did he do? He said, I'm going to cut the duration of how long the programs run. At the time, I said, I think he went to 10 years. Now we have confirmation from a new quote from Jalapal going into the weekend that he did. He did cut the programs to 10 years. These programs at the $3.5 trillion price tag in the recon are at 10 years. So, $3.5 trillion, 10 years, what's next? Nancy Pelosi on Tuesday said there's two ways to get this recon to a smaller price tag. And one of the ways is cutting the duration. Who had said that to you the week before? I did. I said the easiest way to get 3.5 trillion to something in the twos or ones is cut the duration again. And that's what Pelosi said, and that's what Jalopal said all week long and going into the weekend. That all we have to do is cut the duration. In fact, what did Jalopal say? That it's best to cut the duration than the alternative, which is to cut the program. Let's look at the situation. Let's look at the numbers and how this works. For example, $4,000 of elder care in the RECON passed. What are the options? Remove it? That sounds horrible. Reduce it? That doesn't sound right. Instead of $4,000 when you really need that $4,000, just give you $150? No, that doesn't sound right. So what do? You just shorten how long the program runs. Instead of 10 years, which we're really not focused on the next 8, 9 years on this channel, we're focused on being normal for the next few years. And then we'll be back to generally normal. Focus on big, massive checks this year, next year, and maybe the year after that, and then we're good. Then we got our feet back to normal. We feel like it's 2018, and you know we're back to normality. We don't have to focus on situations 7, 8, and 9 years from now. And that's what I've been saying, and now that's what Jalopal's saying. Give big, bold, beautiful checks. Give them right now. Give them out fast, and let's run it shorter. How short? I say run it 5 years. Run it 5 years, and that brings your price tag into the low twos or high $1 billion. Exactly what the moderate Democrats would agree to. Here's some of the comments now from Jalopal, Pelosi, and Alex Padilla saying how this works. Jalopal says that people have always asked me over the last few days, isn't a little bit better than nothing? Meaning, how about a $200 a year elder care? No, I'm not going to do $200 a year elder care. I'm going to do $4,000 of elder care. She said a lot of people have been told their whole life to just get a little bit of something. We're not doing a little bit of something anymore. I love it. That's Jalopal. Then Pelosi had these incredible statements of advocacy. Haven't seen this for Pelosi in a long time. She said, we must do the RECON. We will get the RECON done because we must get it done. Wow. We must get the RECON done because it must get done. That is incredible. She also said that central to the RECON passage is the climate piece of the legislation, and we have to have climate approved, and we have to have the RECON approved. Again, climate is this provision that concerns fossil fuels and natural gas, and this is big. They get that modification with Joe Manchin, we're done. Alex Padilla, who is the senator from California, which replaced the vice president after she won the highest office in the land, he says no climate, no deal, meaning we're going to do a RECON, and it must have climate in there. There will be no RECON unless there's climate in there. I love it because that is how they get it done. Then, of course, we have some other comments that came in from Jalopal that talked about the situation in Bernie, saying we're prepared to negotiate and we're going to negotiate. And also Steny Hoyer saying that everyone must come together. Steny Hoyer, of course, is the majority leader on the House. Jalopal saying that the biggest concern is getting big checks out now, not focusing on year 10. That's exactly where my mind is on this as well. We would reduce the number of years for the program because the universality of the benefits and the immediacy of the benefits are absolutely critical. She's saying getting the money out fast and big amounts right now is what's important. And frankly, that's more important to us than having the entire 10 years. Absolutely. We don't even really have to focus on 10 years. We need to focus on getting this done right now. And Pelosi also said on Tuesday, she thinks we're going to really be in a place where it's going to be passable in the next few days. I think we're there now. Let's go over what really the three fixes are. 1, modifying the language so that on climate so that Joe Manchin comes on board. And 2, modifying the language on the prescription medication so Kristen Sinema goes on board. And number 3, just cutting the programs so the programs don't run 10 years, run 5 years. Because, you know, things are different in 5 years. Kristen Sinema won't be around. You know, it is, yes. Sometimes it's got to say it like it how it is. And there we go. Let's turn into a big other surprise that no one saw coming, which is this one. Your COLA raises are going up 5 to 6%, but baby, that is not your only raise. You're getting 2 other raises in the next year. What? Yeah, let me explain what's going on. Your COLA was raised is raising up 5 to 6%. Over the last 24 hours, people have asked my verb tense, making this, they asked, when I say things, sometimes it sounds like it's going up in in the next 20 minutes. That's not how I mean it. It's going up, will be going up. You know how they talk. Did you take LALATE 101? Russell took LALATE 101. It's the free community college class. So when I say your benefits are going up, people are like, it went up? I just checked my wallet. It didn't go up yet. I will be going up, maybe after this. It's not today. You got to go with me on this. Will be going up in a few weeks. It will be going up in a few weeks, and your benefits will be going up 5 to 6%. And this is huge. Why? Because back when we were in July, we thought that this stimulus was going to raise you up 5% plus their initial lift up. This is big. What happened? COLA is the current benchmark under the law. It's law. And your benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, are tied to COLA. It's done nothing for anyone for many, many years. It's been zero. So every year you look at your check, it's the same check as the year before. Well, because inflation is out of control at the moment, COLA is going up a lot. And back in July, when I said that inflation is going to be hot by the end of the year, I said we're looking at 5% inflation. Wall Street was saying 2%. So I was higher than Wall Street. Now Wall Street's looking at inflation, saying what's going to be by December. They're looking at maybe 10%. So now I'm on the low side. That's why the COLA is going 5 to 6%. Now, let's compare that and add it with this stimulus. What's important to understand is, first, I want to separate forced stimulus from the COLA analysis. In this video, you see me talk about 3 clusters of checks that'll pay viewers, including my seniors, upwards of $15,000. Then you've seen add-ons proposed, like Bob Casey proposing to add in $250 billion of additional money for seniors through home health care. That's forced stimulus. Can we separate that away for a second so that we can just focus on this stimulus, which is the SSI, SSDI, Social Security reform, and COLA? This stimulus, they're proposing to get it done by December. Let's say they don't get it done until January. Then let's go over the analysis. First, in the fifth stimulus, they raise your benefits up one time. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or without benefits. Then they apply a benchmark. Then they remove the asset cap. Then they remove the income cap. And they remove the marriage penalty. But if you notice there, I just said they raise you up two times in my sentence. Is that on top of this one? It absolutely is. Let's go over each of them slowly. First, you're going to get this one, the COLA raise. This is actually law. We're not waiting around for a bill or vote. It's actually law. Then the next raise is when fifth stimulus becomes law, they're going to raise your benefits up one time. So let's say this becomes law, fifth stimulus, in February. Then they'll raise your benefits up one time if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, or veterans benefits. That's the second lift up. Then the third lift up is next benchmark application date, which is potentially next fall, next winter. That next benchmark will be using inflation, because inflation will replace COLA under fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus looks to replace COLA lifetime with inflation. And inflation ain't going to be zero in December of 2022 next year. Inflation is going to be at least 2%, 3% maybe. So that means you'll go up another percentage on top of that. So first you're going to get this raise up. So you're going to go up in a COLA. Then when fifth stimulus becomes law, you're going to go up more. And then when they apply the new benchmark, you're going to go up again. That's all between now and approximately December 2022. Wow, that is huge. And yes, they're going to remove the asset cap. So that has prevented you from having more than $3,000 on hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap that prevents you from working, dating back to a 1960s law. It's going to go away. And they're going to remove the marriage penalty. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and do a pair dance like Rob and Sandy get married at their own wedding. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. Now, let's turn to the big shocker. As one viewer had started this week at $0 and ended this week at $36,000. If you've been with this channel, I always say I can start you at the week and end you at the week totally different. A week ago, that was Prina. Remember Prina? Prina heard my video about the additional $13 billion going out to city, counties, and states from Treasury for rent. And I said to go get it right away. Prina heard me. This was last week. She started the week at $0. By the end of this week, end of last week, she got $6,000 from this channel. What'd she do? She writes, I want to thank you so much, LA, when you said to pounce for that extra $13 billion for rent to the states. I immediately pounced on City of Austin. I got approved for November to January. Now I have 8 months of rent at $6,000. There you go. That was last week. But this week, Mark, remember $51,000 Mark, who got rent before? He heard my message as well. He went back and got more rent, $36,000 of rent. So what I'm going to show you right now is I'm going to show you how to get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, food, internet, clothing, home appliances, furnaces, holiday gifts, and it all starts right now. If you've gotten some of these monies before, you can get more of it. If you haven't gotten it, today's your day. I want you to end this week with more money than you started. I want this channel to help get you money this week. Let's start with the rent. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Each place is different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Also listen to the keywords I say in this video. And then get ready for the nonprofits. They're coming up in this video as well. Here are the 6 places you reach out to. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, and your state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. There you go. And how much in rent can you get? This was a month ago. Viewers were at $20,000 all the way up to $27,000. There's Nisi at $20,000. There's Mark at $25,000. Mark got $36,000 on top of that. Yeah. If you've gotten rent from this channel, anyone on this graphic should go get more rent. If you haven't gotten rent, go get it. Viewers on average are getting about $40,000 now for rent. Then, if you have utility companies, which you do, reach out to all of them. You got 5, reach out to all 5. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities. Then, SNAP, go get that SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get it from Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. How much does it pay? Well, everyone's benefits are going up an average of 25% lifetime automatically nationwide starting this month. So Mark's brother-in-law is going from $21,000 to $26,000. Why would you not get it? Finally, make sure you get multiple sums of money. As you saw, Mark, he is one of the people who got multiple sums of money. This was Mark up to this week. Now he got $36,000 on top of that. He's at almost $100,000. Here's Lorraine. This was her then. She's at almost $120,000 now. Here is Nisi and other people. Their numbers have grown as well. So make sure you get as many items as possible. Let's go to the nonprofits, and I got 5 nonprofits for you as well. There's always a viewer in fall 2020 that said, there's no money in the state of Florida. There's no money in the state of Ohio. There's no money in the state. They always said it in fall 2020. And every single time I disproved them. There was money in every single state. And that was when it was hard to get money. Now it's easy to get money. There is money from the 6 places from the federal government and then also the 5 nonprofits. But yet every single day, there's going to be someone who says, there's no money in my state because my sister's, brother's, uncle's, neighbor's car dresser ventriloquist said to me without moving his lips that there's no money in my state. Oh, he just said there's no money in my state. Oh, you read lips? Okay, all right. Please don't listen to the ventriloquist when determining whether there's rent in your estate. You're the dummy. He's pulling your strings. God, should I go on? No, please don't do that. There's money in your state. You got 6 places to reach out to. Until you reach out to all 6, do not say there's no money in your state. Now, let's say you reach out to all 6 and you have an eligibility problem. There is money there, but you're just not eligible for it. Then lean on the nonprofits. I got 5 nonprofits for you because the 5 nonprofits have different eligibility than the federal government. That's why they're nonprofits. Each of them do things totally different, and they pay for the same items under the third stimulus as the federal government does, just with different eligibility. Here they are: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. They're featured in the newsletter, like that Treasury letter as well, also featured in the newsletter. The other thing to remember about the nonprofits is that they pay for items not under third stimulus. So they pay for clothing, if you cannot afford clothing. They pay for homeless people in the shelters. They also help with holiday gifts. Salvation Army is doing holiday gifts right now. Don't wait until December or November. They do them in October. The common message of the nonprofits is they want to make sure you're safe, warm, cool, not dying of frost, and not dying of heat exposure. So with those commonalities, they have often paid for viewers of this channel's refrigerators or furnaces or portable heaters or blankets. That's what they're very, very good at. So reach out to them as well. Here again are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? The membership link is under the video. Become a member today and receive the LALATE newsletter, written by me personally, that comes out Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The membership newsletter features all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus. Why should you become a member? When we look at 4 stimulus right now, it'll pay viewers on average about $15,000 across the board. But you need to know where to get that money. I'm going to show you where to get the money under 4 stimulus. When we look at third stimulus, when it became law, some people said, where's my $1,400 stimulus check? I said, focus on the $15,000 I can get you under third stimulus. They did. And the average viewer of this channel did not get $15,000. They got $40,000. There's a lot of money still in that third stimulus. It's still being paid out right now, as you see, marking $36,000. So become a member to get that newsletter Monday through Friday. It comes out about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time from the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which is also totally free. That's at news.la.com/alerts. Also sends you alerts with videos. We also now have 2 volunteers that can help you with the alert system if you're having problems getting your alerts or having problems receiving or finding where the newsletter is. Well, they're featured on the community page. Meantime, I'm personally very excited. We got shows now literally 24 hours a day on the hour, all about 4 stimulus. Why? Because the overnight shows have now brought us up to about late April, early May. And by that point, I was the first talking about 4 stimulus. I first started recording about 4 stimulus in about the first week of April. And now we got shows all throughout the night covering 4 stimulus. You're going to see all the dramatics of how things got split, how the bills got split, how the legislation is added. It's important because all those provisions are still in there. Nothing has been removed. So we got shows coming up all day long. Evenings LA is a brand new show tonight. Don't miss it. It's going to be a lot of dramatics. That's at 5 o'clock. And then our hit show, Evenings Countdown, goes on right after that at 6 o'clock. Then we have Street and Stimulus, which over recent nights at 7 o'clock is about a 45-minute show. So it's a big show. Sirloin at 8. Then we got shows at 9, 10, 11:30, 3 a.m., 3:30, and then we go into the new day with Early Mornings LA. So with that, I want you part of this family and subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Also watch Overnight's Crypto, which covers the surprises of that Bitcoin ETF. Very, very fascinating. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful afternoon. I'll see you next on Evenings LA.